Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Boss, Mark Johnson here. Time for the Buffalo Stampede at home. And this one's a little bit bittersweet. It's going to be fun to reminisce, but it's the end of it. The release came out just a couple of days ago. 37 years at the University of Colorado as a coach, as an administrator, making great impact. Ceal Barry, a couple of days ago, announcing her retirement from the University of Colorado. Ceal, 37 years. How quickly did that go by for you?
Well, I will say this, Mark. Some years went by a little bit quicker than others. You know how that goes when things are going well. You go, oh, it's already Friday, and no, it's been awesome. The people, mostly the people I've worked with, from the chancellors to everybody in the department. It's all about the relationships. When it's all said and done, it's all about the people that you've met.
I think about when I came on board doing the games back in 2004. You were still coaching at that point in time. Then you moved into administration. You've just been such a cornerstone to that department. Why now? What made you decide that this was the time to step away on July 1st?
Well, I think predominantly there's so many changes in Division I. I think there's a lot of transition at this time, not just with COVID and return to play, et cetera, but just a lot of changes. Secondly, the department has so much great talent. We have a lot of really young, talented people, and it's more or less their turn to step in. Not that I do everything there, but I just think that timing is everything. It's kind of like when you're a basketball coach. When do you call a timeout? 30 seconds too late is too late. 30 seconds too early doesn't matter. You have to call the timeout at the right time, and I think it's time to call a timeout.
Take us back to 37 years ago. Eddie Crowder's the athletic director, and he takes a chance on a 27-year-old young woman to become a head basketball coach. That's an awful young person to be jumping into a position like that. Take us back to that time and kind of how it transpired and what you were thinking at the time.
Well, you know what, Mark? Job searches were so different in 1983. I had a typewritten resume. You didn't have the electronic, access to people. I had to, rotary dial some of the better women in the Division I game. Billy Moore had won the national championship at UCLA, and I had worked the basketball camps on the West Coast. She had to write out a typewritten letter to Eddie Crowder. I think it was a gamble, particularly because I wasn't from the Big 8 footprint. I was really more the Big 10 SEC footprint. It was a gamble, but I think it worked. It was a good match.
Without question, it worked. What do you think back over the course of, let's stick to coaching right now. You think back, how do you think of that? You just had that 1995 reunion just a short time ago. That was obviously a special team. What stands out? What are you going to sit back and think about and mull over and enjoy thinking about?
Well, I do have to say, I don't think about coaching as much. I mean, I think people who have known me in the last 15 years think about me as being an SWA or an administrator, not about as a coach. But if I look back at the coaching piece of it, recruiting was so hard. Recruiting is not easy. And I think my first thought is, I thank God up above for the players that chose Colorado. I've always felt appreciative that they chose CU because they could have gone anywhere. These were big time players. Tara Bjork, Ed Hartshorn, Aaron Schultz, all those players. They could have they had their pick, and they chose CU. And I think that's a huge responsibility when you recruit somebody and they choose you over someone else. Well, you better do your job. You better come through for what you said you were going to do as far as the program, and they have a great experience. So I think I'll think about that.
Yeah. You think about all that's changed in college athletics, and specifically women's college athletics, since you came on board back in the early 80s. What are you most proud of when you think about where women's athletics has gone from then, 37 years ago, until now?
Well, I think the growth of sports other than basketball. Basketball was a marquee sport, and because men's basketball was major college, women's basketball was there in the 80s. But the addition in my time at CU, we've added women's volleyball, women's golf, women's soccer, women's lacrosse, and they've all been pretty good programs. You just had Jesse Mahoney on. I'm really, really proud that we hired Jesse Mahoney. He went to the Sweet 16 his third year here. I mean, his program's going to take off. I always say they're going to be in the Final Four. They could beat Nebraska. They could beat UCLA. It's all about recruiting. But I'm proud of Danny Sanchez. He was at Metro, Wyoming. I'm proud of Mark Wetmore, Heather, national championship in cross country, just advocating little things that programs need to win championships are more than the coaches. You got to have the support behind the scenes. So I'm proud that we've kind of pushed those along slowly but surely.
Well, lastly here, Ceal, 37 years in college athletics at one place. That doesn't happen very often. You, as a coach and an administrator, over the course of nearly 4 decades, and you said earlier about not coming from the footprint of the Big 8 or the Big 12. What was it about Boulder, Colorado that you found so special that you said to yourself, I'm never leaving here?
Well, I think, Mark, it's the same thing that appeals to you and everybody else that's in Boulder. It's the combination. For me, it was the combination of excellent academics and a conference. Back then it was Big 8, Big 12. Now it's Pac-12, a great conference. And then you look outside and the setting isn't half bad. You know, you can recruit here. When I first came, and I thought, I like a good academic school. I like a good academic reputation where students are going to be challenged for what they're doing in the classroom. And there was no point in leaving. Why leave what's pretty perfect to go to something that appears to be pretty perfect? So I've been happy.
All right. Now, I know you're too energetic, too driven. You got to have something on your plate. What's next for Ceal Barry now?
Gosh, I don't know. I think I'll be fairly occupied this summer. I think when it's November, I'll be bored to tears. That's basketball season and what I really love to do. I don't know. I'd like to take six months and see, what do I want to do in the wintertime? I think that's probably next steps. Thanks for asking.
You bet. Well, Coach, it's been an honor working alongside you all these years. Congratulations. You're obviously going to be missed around the athletic department, and I know you got great days ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
All right. Coach Ceal Barry, one of the greats in University of Colorado history. Her final day will be July 1st. She steps down after 37 years at the University of Colorado.